And then this side of the store is my favorite.
Oh, and there's more.
And there's more.
That's Emma.
I'm bringing home some quail.
Oh, did you notice this?
I did.
So she turned 18 years old this year.
Wow.
She's massive.
Yep, she's
That's
just a typical Colombian
regular
reptile
boa. Yeah, holy moly.
What is she, about 9
She's,
feet?
almost 9.
Yeah.
Yep, I think just under. She's about 55, 60 pounds, somewhere in
up.
between there.
Solid.
I messed up.
What?
You think my boa's gonna get that big?
Yep.
It will.
Absolutely.
Yep, and she actually came to us rather overweight when she first arrived. She was over
Oh,
75
really?
pounds when she
Oh.
first came in.
Yeah, she was too thick.
And trying to get an animal like that to
Right.
lose weight is a difficult job.
Yeah,
because
it
they can
is.
just sit on their weight forever.
Yeah.
So
They're
it
not-
did- it was
they're not
really
that
difficult for
active.
us. It took us just under 2 years to get her down to a healthy
Yeah.
weight. But after that, she's been loving it here. She's a really social boa, surprisingly. She loves just greeting people. I've always liked that she's got a mustache on the front of her face. That's always been pretty funny to me.
Now, how big is this enclosure?
This one is, I want to say 8 feet.
Yeah.
8 by 2 by 4 or 3, 2 by 3, I think.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, she loves
Absolutely
it.
fantastic.
We had it designed especially for her because she's never gonna leave the store. I mean, she's gonna be one of our store animals for as long as we can keep her.
Right.
She
Yeah.
actually belonged to a previous customer of ours that tragically ended up taking their own life back in 2019.
Oh, wow.
And their family cared for the snake for
Right.
about a year and a half, and they were trying to do right by it. They weren't
Yeah.
necessarily aiming to get it overweight or anything. They just didn't
Right.
have a good sense of what it was supposed to
They
eat.
thought it was supposed to eat every time.
They gave it
Yeah.
rabbits.
Oh,
and
yeah.
So she was quite thick when she got here. But we got her onto a rat diet and slimmed her down a little bit. And her name is Emma in honor of the lady that used to take care of her. So
Nice.
she's always going to be a part of our store.
Super nice.
This is another custom that we're still finishing, but our goal is to have basilisks that live in here.
Oh,
That's
sweet.
the one that you don't actually see anymore.
No.
And typically, like with a lot of our big enclosures, we'll do, full live plants,
Yeah.
bioactive. We actually went the opposite direction with this one because we wanted to show people that you can still achieve a naturalistic look with artificial ornaments.
Yes.
So that's kind of our goal with this one. We're still getting it all dialed in, and we'll take the tags off of everything and get more substrate in the bottom. But that's just something that we're working on over time. This is kind of the frog room.
Whoa.
This is where frogs and geckos are typically going to live.
Look
like
at those
geckos.
enclosures. Super sweet.
Yeah, and these custom backgrounds, my assistant manager Drew busted out most of these custom backgrounds in a period of like 3 or 4 days.
Oh, wow.
All of them. I mean, he had like 4 to 6 of them going at once.
Right,
And
yeah.
he did them all, I mean, not necessarily in a hurry, but he was constrained by time, but they still look fantastic.
Yeah, they
and
do.
It's just a testament to how simple these can be to do.
Look
It's a
amazing.
great weekend project, and you have full control over how it's going to turn out. So we have anything
Look at
from the rock backgrounds,
Full bioactive.
the cork ledges
Yeah.
coming out. We've got tubes
Like
coming
all
out of
of
this
them.
one.
All
Yeah.
of them are
Most all of these are bioactive.
Yeah.
That's this room is kind of the bioactive setup room. There's
Thought
still
that
a
was
couple
the
of these tanks.
thought that was the
have-
center of a flower.
Oh yeah, big pudgy fella.
Looks like a porcelain
Little white tree frog.
Yep.
porcelain frog.
The white tree frogs are
Oh,
a
so
super
cute.
good selling frog for us. Popular for good reason. They're pretty basic to take care of, but you can also do a full live planted enclosure and make it look beautiful.
Yeah.
Some of these enclosures will still have a couple of artificial pieces in them just because we're still fully converting everything over right now. And then the end goal is to have automatic misting on all of these.
yeah.
So that way it's as low maintenance as you can make it. It's still a full-time job to take care of everything.
Right.
We're trying to minimalize everything as much as we can so that way it can be taken care of on a regular basis. And then back here,
And wait, there's more.
this is where a majority of the for sale snakes and chameleons and things like that are going to be. We've also got things like skinks and some monitor lizards in here. So this wall is a lot of snakes.
Super dope.
Various
Love
different
the
species,
enclosure. Oh, look.
corn snakes, king snakes,
Your
milk
favorite.
snakes.
Oh, the red eye.
Yeah, those are pretty
How to
popular
tame
ones.
your dragon.
Oh yeah. And they're funny too because they'll almost like play dead in a sense.
Oh, really?
Where whenever you first pick them up, it'll take them a minute to kind of wake up and realize what's going on. So they'll kind of
Oh.
be stiff. We've had a lot of customers that go in to observe these with us, and I'll pick it up and be like, "Oh my God, it's dead."
It's the head.
I'm like, "Nope, give it a second," and then it moves like grease lightning back into the tank.
Yeah.
So they wake up pretty quick. Hog noses, super popular snake as well, especially on the internet. So that's another one that we carry pretty regularly. This is a tricolor, so it actually looks kind of like a milk snake in a way.
Oh, that's the species that doesn't last very long, right?
They don't have as long of a span, but I'll double check that with one of my coworkers to get the definitive answer on that one, because they'll know better than I.
And they're a little bit bigger than the average, right?
About the same. They're about the same, yeah. They don't really get that much bigger.
They've all probably got.
Where are you at?
Still active?
In terms of food, so they're probably sitting there
Sit here.
digesting.
It's not even the panic. Fellow veterans recognize other veterans.
That wasn't the telltale sign.
You would, I mean, yeah, we're fine.
That's honestly my tell half the time too, is because a lot of them still keep the high and tight haircut. So it's an easy way
No,
to
it's,
tell.
I don't know why, but just I can pinpoint them out of a crowd.
The big thing with these guys is even though
I don't know, I guess I just never changed it in 11 years.
Right?
so good.
So this is the unfortunate game that you play with hog noses.
Oh yes, they love their burrowing.
Yeah, and like while you're digging in one side, they're just going to the other. So I don't want to tear this tank up too bad, but there's still definitely plenty that I can pull out here in a minute. Especially over towards here, because this is where most of my educational animals live.
Black reps, California king.
How you doing, man?
Not too bad, so.
Good, good.
We've also got things like the northern blue tongue skink. He's poking his head out.
Oh my goodness, you're so cute.
That's the largest subspecies, so they're pretty popular for good reason. I've actually got an adult northern blue tongue that I use for my shows, and he
nice.
is awesome to use. I love taking him out. It's cool.
Yeah.
You're cool.
King snakes of all various morphs and species.
I see bull snakes too.
Yeah, I'm a big softie for the colubrids myself,
Yeah,
so
you
I've
like
always been more
colubrids,
on these
yeah.
guys. So the bull snakes, the king snakes, the rat snakes, I've always been more into those guys.
I've definitely grown to love them. I don't know why. That's why I've gotten quite a few.
For me,
over
it's
the
their
years.
consistency. I mean, a lot of species can be kind of picky when
Kinda finicky, yeah. Yep.
The colubrids, especially like my king snakes, like the California king was one of the first ones I cared for personally.
Yeah.
And he was like a garbage disposal. I mean, you could
Didn't
put
matter.
You can put a mouse-shaped rock in the tank and you'd almost try to eat it. I mean, they're always ready to go. Big Brazilian rainbow boa in
Ooh, look
here.
how pretty
wow.
you are.
That thing is.
As beautiful as these are, a lot of people don't expect the fact that they can be kind of temperamental sometimes.
Yeah.
As a species, they're not as widely nice as some of the other ones, but if you work with them over time, they're definitely
There you
workable.
go. Yeah.
But if
the
you just
Colombian.
approach an adult and grab in there, they can sometimes grab you back.
I mean, I would too if someone was going into my enclosure.
As far as
Right. Get your hand out my pocket.
as far as the iridescent snakes go, the sunbeam is one of the
Woo!
best.
Look at that.
This one's I'm so sorry.
Rightly
I
named
know.
Sunbeam.
I know, you're not very happy. He's fast.
Oh, that
They're
is
actually pretty
awesome.
nice, but they can be flighty
All
sometimes.
colubrids are fast.
Yeah. This one's getting ready to shed, so it's not as bright as it usually
That's crazy.
is. I know, I'm
You
sorry.
know how
I'm
much I
sorry.
love that snake right now?
Yeah.
Like a lot.
But the light
Reminds
bounces
you
off
of,
it really well, especially natural light
Like
when you get it
a
outside.
Eastern indigo, just a smaller package.
Kinda. Yeah,
Yeah.
kinda.
How flighty are they? They look pretty flighty.
I mean, once they're not, because it's in shed, so it's having trouble seeing, so it's a little extra defensive right
Yeah.
now.
It feels totally.
But it's really smooth. It feels
Yeah.
like a slug.
Oh,
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
it's
it
like a
almost feels
scaleless.
fish.
Yeah.
Oh, you biting?
You're okay.
No bites.
I'm sorry.
That's
No,
not.
leave
It
me alone.
can't even be that bad of a bite. It doesn't look like it bite hard.
Nah, it's got a small mouth. I mean, I didn't even feel it.
Headbutt.
Yeah.
They
And,
don't typically open
and
mouth
very
strike.
reasonably
Yeah, I was
priced.
about to say that might come home with me.
Very
Yeah.
reasonably
That
priced.
really might come
Yeah.
home with me.
These don't usually sit here for
Is
too
that
long.
full size?
No.
No?
I mean, it'll get a little bit bigger than
Okay.
that. Gray banded kings is
That one's dope.
That one might
Yeah.
have to come home with me.
That one's dope.
That one definitely might have to come home.
Some of these locks are on here upside down, and it drives me crazy.
Ooh, the gray banded.
These are one
Oh,
of my
these are
favorite.
beautiful.
Oh, he's under there. Yeah. Oh.
These are beautiful.
Come here, little dude.
Oh my goodness, look how beautiful that snake is.
These are indigenous to the state of Texas. This is one of the things that makes them one of my favorites.
Oh, nice.
I used to go out to Sanderson in West Texas and look for these guys every couple of years.
You found one.
Yeah, I sure did.
was a-
It's on
was
that
a-
phone, I'll show it later.
I had a really
Black and
frustrating
yellow?
weekend a few years ago where I left after searching for a couple of days, didn't find anything more than a bunch of millipedes and centipedes and a rat snake. And then the night I left, I checked the Facebook page, and two
They were-
14-year-old kids found like 6 of them in one night. I was like, well, that's just
Right where
great.
you were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the same stretch of road that I was on. I was like, that's fantastic.
Oh, look, they got a viper boa.
Your
Notoriously mean.
favorite.
Yes. Those are a little bit more on the angry side for sure. This is more of our showcasing space.
Wow, this just gets like, nicer and nicer.
Yeah.
Right?
Super sweet. What's up, big guy? You want to give a shout out to anybody?
Give a shout out to Skittle.
Anybody?
Skittle.
Skittles? Who's Skittles?
That's my panther chameleon.
Oh, man, high five for that.
That's a good one.
What's your name, boss?
Brylan.
Brian?
Brylan.
Oh, Brylan. All right, I love it. I love it. And this is your sister? No? Okay, all right.
These are fly river turtles. They're a pretty cool species.
Never seen one in person.
Yeah, the Irwins at their zoo, they have a group of them as well, although they're
Like a
much
sea
larger.
turtle.
Yeah, they're like
Yeah.
a freshwater sea turtle.
Yeah.
Who
They
loves
only-
them? Camp Kennan. He has
Oh,
a bunch
these?
of fly river turtles.
Yeah.
He loves them.
They only come out of the water to lay their eggs, just like the sea turtles do. And they've got the little kind of snout nose, pig nose look going on, which earns them the other
Crazy.
common name of, some people call them the pig nose turtle.
Do you guys sell those?
No, actually,
No,
these are just
okay.
part of the store.
Gotcha.
They're our educational display.
Gotcha.
And this, as a species, they're quite expensive. I mean,
Okay.
you can find these for upwards of $3,000 to $4,000 in some cases. Because they're very rarely ever, sold.
Come to market, yeah.
Right, right. And when they are, I mean, people go to great lengths to raise these up.
Right.
It's pretty expensive.
Yeah.
There's a little group of fish swimming around in here as well.
They look
What do
like
they
like
What do they eat typically?
They're vegetarians
Okay.
typically, so they'll eat on vegetation
Right.
and things like that. But they'll also occasionally chew on the fish. So
Oh, really?
yeah,
Oh,
we just
okay.
kind of let that be like a wild snack. For
Right. Just in case.
This is an enclosure that's actually not running right now because we just moved it over from my previous space. This was the last piece of the store that was still in the old space. that we had
Okay,
to
got
move
you.
over.
Yeah.
And this is actually something that we're planning on getting set up. Our end goal is to have a display in the mall and have like a little kiosk there.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So we're gonna set it up a little bit more on the simplistic side, so that way it's easy to maintain. quick
So this is going to be
to
both aquatic on the top and land on the.
I'm not too sure yet.
Okay.
They've got a lot of plans for it.
Right.
I don't know exactly what they're going to be putting into it just yet. I know moving it here was almost an act of
Oh,
God.
you need a forklift.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it was just 4 dudes and a lot of screaming.
This is not 2 pieces.
This whole thing
No,
is
that's
one-
what I'm telling you. That thing's heavy.
So, This
Yeah.
is one piece, the top is one piece, and this is one piece.
Yeah.
We took the doors off, and we have these handles here that are like big suction
Oh,
cups.
right, yeah.
We stick them to the side, Mission Impossible style, and we just had to manhandle the thing onto a cart and push it over here and put it back where it was.
Yeah.
But this is where a lot of my showcasing
Blackhead
educational angles
python?
are.
Is that what? No. Is that what I think that is?
Oh, albino?
He was moved in here recently, so I'm not too sure definitively.
What is it? Is that a tree boa?
I'll ask one of my managers because that was put in whenever I wasn't here.
Albino tree boa.
I don't know.
Yeah, it is. That's my guess.
I don't want to say it's a carpet because I might be wrong.
No, I don't think so.
But that was moved here whenever I wasn't here, so I
Right,
don't want
yeah.
to say anything definitively on that one. But this is where a lot
Yeah.
of my educational stuff lives. This is like
What is this
my
flat
absolute
thing?
favorite. Those are tiger rat snakes,
That's crazy.
and they can be a little mean sometimes. They're not too big on being
Not too.
picked up.
Yeah.
They lit up my manager a couple days ago and got them pretty good. But they're beautiful. They're
Yeah.
fun to feed. They're really interactive in the tank. They're always moving around.
Look how flat they get.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yep, and there's a couple of them in there roaming around. What's up, big guy?
Oh, look at this big frilly.
What's up, dude?
Sheesh. Look at that thing. I didn't think they got that big.
He's so cute.
You're okay, bud.
That thing's
So yeah,
huge.
this is Ozzy. He's a frill dragon. I'm pretty positive he's not full-blood Australian. I'm pretty sure he's a hybrid of New Guinea and Australian. I don't know definitively on his genetics because I found him on Craigslist.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Was he already big?
He was close to this size.
Okay.
Yeah, he was already pretty much an adult. He's actually quite old at this point because I've had him in our care here for about 8 years or so.
Oh, wow.
And I mean, he was near death when I found him. He was being kept in a 15-gallon, being fed the wrong stuff, didn't have the right lighting. I mean, just about anything that could be wrong with him was wrong with him. Metabolic bone disease, dehydration, parasites, malnutrition.
Yeah,
I mean, it
everything.
took us almost a year and a half to get him back up to speed. And I fully expected him to die in the first 6 months. I was just giving him somewhere
And he's
comfortable
just,
to live.
yeah.
But he pulled through. He's a soldier, so he's been working with me now for about 7 or 8 years. And he is by far my favorite lizard in the store because I've spent a lot of time with this guy personally. He was actually in such bad shape that his frill was deteriorating. So on this side, it's nice and complete. I know, buddy. I'm supporting you. I'm sorry. And on this side, there's a large section missing.
Oh, yeah.
Because he was in such bad shape, he was essentially almost like he was decomposing while he was still
Yeah,
alive.
yeah.
He was wasting away.
Right.
But we got it all to stop.
Does he have a frill?
Not as much anymore. When we first got him, he was super on edge and would frill
I know
everything.
people who own them, they have, certain tricks that
Right.
they'll show them a picture of
Certain
something.
behaviors and stuff will make 'em frill
Make
up.
them frill.
He's not as big on that anymore because he's just gotten so calm and nice over the
Yeah,
years.
he's, as you can see, he is just chilling.
Because the main thing that he frills up at nowadays is like other snakes.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, if one of his neighbors goes by the window,
Right,
he'll frill up
up.
sometimes.
Right.
But he's gotten so chill now. I mean, there's not much that makes him freak out nowadays. He's pretty used to how we operate here. But I've used him for shows for about 5 or 6 years now. I mean, he's probably met and interacted with close to 1,000 kids.
Oh, yeah.
So he's pretty used to being handled. That and the fact that we had to hand feed him and water him and give him
Right,
medicine for like
yeah.
2 years. So
And
that made
what
him
is the
pretty chill.
typical lifespan on these?
It's kind of similar to a beardy, about 15, 17 years.
Okay.
He's, at my estimate, about 13 or 14.
And he's kicking.
So he's my resident old timer.
Right.
I'm actually probably going to be retiring him later this year from my events just because I want to
Oh,
give him
right.
an easy life. But he's been doing great. He loves being fed by kids. They'll throw him roaches and he'll eat a whole cup of them if you let him. So. But his metabolism is as fast as it used to be, so I don't want him to get fat. So I always
Right.
have to be careful with this guy. But he's like my baby. I love him. Alrighty, buddy.
I see someone.
There
I
you
see
That's
something that
super.
starts with a D,
Oh, you
and it's
over
right
there?
below his cage.
There you go. The Dumerals.
Yes!
Yeah.
I just got one. I got a baby. I love him.
So that's Belladonna.
The Dumerals. Wow.
She is one of our more recent acquisitions for my educational animals, but she was used for handling and education previously, so she's always been pretty good.
So you know what that means.
Oh man, I'm excited.
You
right
got to
now.
keep handling yours.
Mine's very handleable. Surprisingly, I haven't gotten bit by him yet.
Where's your head at?
By far my favorite boa. By far
might
probably.
have
Sorry,
to
ball
get
pythons, but probably my favorite snake.
Baby girl.
You have no idea how much I love these guys. This is
You're gonna make it
just.
difficult because that's what you do.
Sure is.
Once you get her out, she's fine, but when you're first getting her out, she kind of huffs and puffs and tries to blow your house down. Get the girl. What's up? I don't want to tear the tank apart, so I might just leave you alone for now.
She is awesome.
But yeah, she's great. She's super sweet. She's super strong, though.
I need to get mine.
Even when she's being totally chill, I mean, she can
Right.
do a good
She can
squeeze.
give you a.
So I have to be pretty careful around her. So usually I'll get her out for like older kids parties
Oh,
and things
yeah.
like that. I don't exactly hand her off to 6-year-olds most of the time, but if she's ever specially requested, I'm always willing to accommodate.
She's like, that worked.
This is that big blue tongue I was talking about.
Oh man, he's a potato.
Yeah, in fact, that's his name. His name is Potato Head. Come here, buddy. You're not being
He's a
fed.
potato.
You're always ready to eat. I know. And he is super chill. He'll let you do
Blue.
basically whatever you want.
Oh.
He's a northern blue tongue, so his species comes from Australia, but he was captive born and bred.
Yeah, because the Indonesian are black and whitish.
They're a lot darker. Yeah.
That cream color is definitely.
But there's
the
lots of
northern.
different subspecies of the blue tongues: Indonesians, Halmaheras, Irian Jayas. You can find a lot of different types. The northerns are some of the more sought after ones just because they get real big and chunky.
Easier to take care of too. The humidity requirements are a little bit easier.
Yeah, they're not as quite as specific. But he's like a little garbage disposal. He'll eat just about anything. They're omnivorous, so he eats everything.
Oh, really?
We gonna give you everything. I'll go
Yeah.
buy a quail egg just for you.
And he actually got his name Potato Head because he came in with a female that bit him up on the head a bunch. And we rehomed the female because she was just a little too feisty.
She was too much.
But we found a good home for her, and they enjoyed her sass, so that was all the better for them.
Right.
But him, I kind of wanted to work on him for a little bit. And after about 8 months or so, all of his head scars healed, but he's still Potato Head to me, so he'll always be Potato Head. He's always great for handling, but he's got some sharp feet. That's really the only drawback. So like with the kids, will sometimes
get
recoil
scratched.
because he's got some scratchy feet. But he means well. He's a good little guy. I call him my shaved ferret half the time because that's kind of what he acts like sometimes.
Sounds about right.
Right? Here you go, buddy.
I've never heard that analogy.
I'm about to use it now.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
If he's out for too long, he'll start going to the bathroom all over the place. So whenever I get him out, I'm like, all right, clock's ticking. This is like one of my favorite things that I've got in here. I can let you guys hold him all day. He is fine with just about anybody.
Mexican Black King?
You got it.
Oh, you think you know your species, huh?
You definitely got it right. Come here, big guy.
You still didn't tell me what that albino was.
You know what I thought it was?
What?
An albino version of the mangrove. From a distance, that's
yeah.
what it looked like.
I'll ask about it up front because I don't want
But
to.
then the face looks python.
Looks like a
I don't want to lie and act
Looks
like I
like
know
a
exactly what it is, so I'll have to ask one of my
T-ball.
coworkers to make sure. But this is my Mexican Black King.
They're fantastic.
He's
They
such
are
a
so
great
dark.
example.
It's
Yeah.
not even funny. Like,
He's all black except
Fantastic.
for his little chin. Has got some white on
oh
it.
my goodness, that's why you would have been called
But
Spot.
he's so chill. He'll let me do basically whatever I want with
My
him.
dog,
He's
Spot.
been worked with for a long time.
He
this
doesn't
is-
musk or anything, huh?
No.
You're fantastic.
This is
Like,
another one that has probably met like 800 to 1,000 kids at this point.
He's just-
so
he just
he's
super
just
docile.
amazing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I can travel with him and do whatever I want, and he's just fine. He's lit me up a few times over the years, just because you can't work with animals like this and expect
Right.
them to get bit. So, but most of the time it was feeding response or
Right.
something that I did to trigger his aggression. So as long as you pay attention to what you're doing and how you're holding him, he is totally fine.
Yeah.
I could throw him at my grandma and not
Look
be
at him.
worried about
He
it.
just fell asleep.
I'd be worried about what my grandma would do to me, but yeah, he's always a consistent one.
He's fantastic.
Yeah, we've still got a couple scales left to shed and bump the humidity up in your tank, buddy.
He is so chill.
Oh yeah.
He is.
I mean, I could throw him around my neck like a
Especially to
necklace
be
and
a
work 3 hours of my
colubrid.
shift.
Yeah,
He's totally fine.
super chill.
That was one of the things that drew me to him because he was actually abandoned in a shoebox at the front of our store like 4 or 5
Somebody
years
just
ago.
dropped it off and left.
Yeah, I came to the front and I thought it was just somebody that was shopping around and had their
And
snake
left
up
it,
front. So I
yeah.
asked around, nobody claimed him, put out a couple of posts, nobody came
Nobody
forward and said
said.
anything about
Yeah.
it. So I eventually just decided to try to rehome him, but then after working with him for a couple of
You were
weeks,
like, yeah,
I mean, he's been this chill since day one.
Right.
I've done nothing to make him like this.
Yeah.
He's just been like this. And he eats like a champ.
Look
so,
at him.
I mean, he's just a great example.
nothing like the average colubrid.
And he's about 4 to 5 inches over average size
Yeah.
too. So he's a little bit of a
Yeah.
bigger example. So that's one of the other reasons why I wanted to keep him on.
Super
'cause
chill.
He's a great educational animal. Plus, he's pretty intimidating looking if you don't know him.
Right, yeah.
So I love using him to help people conquer their fears. That's one of the programs that I do over at SMU.
Okay.
I go to there every year, and they have a fears program that they
Right,
do. And
yeah.
I get a bunch of college kids to squirm in their seats.
Yeah.
They squirm in their seats for like a snake that's
Yeah,
that
I'm like,
big.
this is like the
It looks
least
like a worm.
threatening
Looks like a
thing I could ever
worm.
get.
The only thing that's less threatening looking than you is like a ball python.
Yeah,
That's about it.
one of the times I went over there, I brought like an 18-inch rainbow, or not rainbow, 18-inch rosy boa, and they
So
were,
tiny.
some of them were just losing it. over
Losing
that.
it.
I'm like, what is it gonna do?
Nothing. Even
Its
if
mouth
Right.
is like half an inch
Yeah,
wide.
exactly.
The sand boas and they try to bite me all the time.
Well,
It's
you
like,
know all the snake myths. It's gonna jump on me. It
oh,
can
it's gonna,
fly.
it's poisonous. It's
Yeah.
gonna, you know.
Yeah.
I get a lot of people that come in, they're like, oh, look at the shape of his head, that means that it's poisonous.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like, there's a couple of things we need to go over.
Yeah.
First of all, venomous, not poisonous.
Right.
And head shape, eye shape, tail shape, none of that is really a good way to
Means
definitively
squat.
tell between whether it's venomous or not.
Not
because
even the pupils.
there's
Nothing.
so many different types of species around that they can look like anything.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Actually, isn't it that the pupil inside of it? If it's vertical, wouldn't it be that it's nocturnal, and then the circular one is diurnal?
In
Isn't
some
that-
cases,
In some
yeah.
cases, right?
Mhm.
It's not venomous or not.
Has
right?
nothing to do with that.
yeah, that's not
Yeah.
gonna help you tell
No,
if
no, I
it's
know
or
it's
not.
not. I know it's not.
And plus, a lot of people that they come in, they're like, "Oh, is this venomous? Is that venomous?"
Nothing.
Right.
Nothing here.
Nothing.
The city, most major cities don't allow casual venomous keeping.
Right, yeah.
If you go outside city limits or you find some small towns and things like that that don't really care, you can get away with more stuff there.
Right.
But you've got to be very careful because Fish and Wildlife and local game wardens and things like that, and local animal protective services and things like that crack down pretty strictly on species like that. So we all have to play it by the book here because we're an open business, so we always are pretty transparent about all the stuff that we keep because we have to be.
You tickling me.
Super.
Oh yeah, he does that.
You tickling me.
I'm surprised he's not in your shirt because it's typically the first place he tries to go. He's like, sleeve! Just goes up.
I mean, that is the
Fantastic.
chillest colubrid I've seen.
Oh yeah. The only one chiller than him was actually, believe it or not, a bull snake that I worked with
Really?
for a couple of years.
A bull snake.
Bull
Yeah.
snake.
Wow.
My bull snakes are not that bad.
He was
Right.
a Stillwater
But still.
hypo.
Yeah.
I called him Handsome Harry because he was just a beautiful bull
Beautiful.
snake.
Yeah.
Never seen a calm bull snake.
The previous GM back whenever he was working here decided to rehome him to another keeper friend of ours. So I wasn't too torn up about where he was going because I knew they'd do right by him. But I was just sad that he was leaving because he was so cool to work with. He almost felt like a rattlesnake when you picked him out of there. So it was just a super cool thing to work with. And he was even chiller than him.
Wow.
I mean, you pick him out, throw him around your neck, and he'll just fall asleep. Yeah, he doesn't care. Of course, he'll pretty much do the same nowadays. Won't you, bud? Yep. You're just super curious. I have to keep an eye on his head whenever I'm walking around because he'll just
Grab something.
dart out and grab onto things while I'm walking. Like, are you trying to tear yourself in half, dude? What are you doing? But he's always been a good example for me. Here you go, bud.
Super cool.
That's what these look like. I've been trying to think of the name. They look like it, but like with a flat tail, a Crebo. The Crebos have that flat tail too.
Oh yeah.
That's what I thought it looked like. But the
Their
Crebos
whole
are
body is flat.
like a solid color. I don't remember what color though.
It's crazy.
And my showstopper that I use for most of my educational shows to end it all.
Oh, Eastern Indigo.
Oh
Yes, sir.
man.
Eastern Indigo. I like to call her Raven.
I've never seen one in person.
She previously
No?
belonged to
Are
our
you
GM,
serious?
Greg Power. He used her for shows and things like that for years, so she's used to being handled. But she's gotten a little old now. I think she's about 17 or 18 at this point. She's actually lost her vision.
I see that.
She's gotten
I thought
cataracts.
I thought she was actually in show.
No, actually, a lot of people do, and we constantly think that just because it's hard to tell. But no, that's actually just the lenses on her eyes. And she's very food motivated, so we have to be careful with her. But once you give her a few taps and let her know that you're not doing anything wrong to her, then she's typically okay. All right, good girl.
Look like a blue-eyed Lucy, huh?
Oh my.
Almost, yes.
She does not look like an 18, 19-year-old snake.
No, she's still doing good. She's got a couple of scale wrinkles now, but she's not too bad.
Wow. I didn't know they got this big.
Yeah.
This is actually the
This is
females
pretty
don't
small.
get as big as the males.
Yeah.
It's usually the opposite. In a lot of snake species, the females get bigger, but with the indigos, the females get a little bit smaller. The males can get over 9 feet in some cases. I think
Look at those
she's
scales.
just under 7.
Those scales.
The iridescence is insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's like an oil slick.
Oh my goodness.
You okay, mama?
This one in the Mexican black the iridescence on them just is like no other snakes.
I use her in tandem with the Mexican black to kind of play with the kids sometimes. I'll put the Mexican black back and then I'll pour some water over him. Well, it'll look like I'm not actually pouring water over him. It'll look like I am.
Right.
And then I'll be like, oh my god, I added too much water. And then I'll pull her out. And I'm like, oh, what did I do? So she's always been really patient with me. So I've enjoyed working with her. What's up, big girl? But a lot of the handling relationship with her is all this trust, because she doesn't really know where she's going when you first pull her out.
Mm-hmm.
So she's relying on us to keep her safe and make sure that she doesn't get anywhere she's not supposed to. So we've always been super careful with her. But she's still a great example, so I love working with her. She's super sweet.
They're like known to be like the meanest snakes.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
weird to see
Especially if you run into wild ones. I mean, they can be pretty nasty.
one musking at you from like 8 feet away.
But my general manager, Greg Power, he spent the better part of 12 or 13 years working with her, handling with her at shows and things like that. So
beautiful.
Before I even started working with her, she was already pretty used to being handled.
Nice.
I just love that she just has like this giant colubric head.
Yeah.
She's, oh my
So
god.
cool.
I get the fascination of wanting one. I really do. I get it.
The price is what keeps people away.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
there's not a lot
Now
of
they're-
people in the U.S. that reliably breed these.
They're like 2,500, 3,500 now. Yeah.
1,500 to 2,000 in most cases.
Yeah.
Especially if they're captive born and bred from good genetic lines, you can pay a pretty penny for a species like that. So we were actually going to be getting, gosh, I'll have to check with my GM to see what species. It's a species that I haven't worked with before, but it's very similar to the indigos in the sense that they get pretty large. They're a little bit on the pricey side, and they're not as common, but they're a little bit easier to obtain than the indigos. So we're working on getting one of those soon. Because this is another one that I'm probably going to retire in the next, 6 months to a year. Because she's getting older, and I don't want this to be the rest of her life.
Right,
I want her to
yeah.
do easy. So I'm going to give her a nice, easy retirement here in the next 6 months or so. But
Is she still gonna stay here, like just behind the
yeah.
scenes?
Well, she'll
Or
just,
she would go home with
she'll
you?
she'll just be in here just like she was before. I just won't be using her for shows. So she'll just get to hang out in here permanently and be fed consistently and be spoiled rotten.
And that's a big cage too. What is this? Another 8-foot cage?
This is a 6 foot.
6 foot?
Yep, that is a 6 foot.
Massive enclosures.
Yeah, and all of these cages were done through a company called High Scale. So they custom built this wall for us, and it's all modular. So a lot of these tanks you can take off and restack and rearrange them in a way that you see fit. And then we've got storage in between all of them to make sure that we have spaces for the herpstats and all the thermostats to manage the temperature and humidity.
Super nice.
Because herpstat is what runs our entire store basically. So
Yeah.
we've got multiple systems all over the place. I've got another 4 system up here.
Chinese water dredger.
Oh,
4
yeah.
system up there. So we've just got
Oh,
multiple
you got them
around the
all
store.
all over the tops. Yeah.
Yep. And then custom misting systems. So we've got automatic misting on this entire wall through a Mist King system, which is the main brand that we use for most of our misting. We sell their systems here as well because they're just a great product.
Yeah.
So all of these are plumbed in for automatic misting, and then eventually the frog room will be done in the same way.
Love it. Love it.
The tokays that are in this enclosure, the male that's in here is, I'm pretty sure it's the last original animal left that came from the owner's collection. Because a lot of the owner's personal collection that he added to the store when he first built the store was already quite old. So after 8 or 9 years, a lot of it has come and gone.
Yeah.
But the big male that's in here, the beast, I believe that's him. I'll have to check around to make sure because there's 3 in here, I believe. Oh, no, he's right here. Yeah, there's the big guy.
Oh.
So yeah, he got him about 14 years ago, whenever he was about 2 or 3.
Massive.
And he was that big when he got him. That's how we already had the name of Beast.
Yeah.
Yep. So we took care of him for years and years and years, and he made multiple attempts to try to breed him, but he kept murdering / eating his females. But the female that we
And
got
these
him
and these guys get along.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, especially whenever they have a baby, they can live very communally.
Okay.
So like the captive born and bred baby that's in here, I mean, we can take them out and things
Right.
like that if we need to. And then the big female that's up here, that's Phantom. So she actually escaped in our previous store for about 18 months, and we were just
No
it was
way.
the running joke that we were never going to catch her because she's so fast. That's why we named her Phantom. You would just kind of see glimpses of her around the store. But in the back room one day, I was getting a bag of powder supplement down, and I turned the bag over, and she was just sitting on the bag. And so I just kind of stood there for a second, not really
Had a little
sure what to
standoff?
do. Yeah. And she jumped onto the wall, and luckily there was a little deli cup right next to me here, so I just grabbed it and cupped her to the wall and slid a little binder piece under her and started running around the store like, I caught her, finally!
Got her.
And then we eventually thought it might be a good idea to try her out with the beast, and he actually took to her.
And it
they've just
worked,
been kind
yeah.
of cohabitating. He needed a wild woman is what
Yes,
he
he
needed.
Right. Yeah.
He needed a woman with some traveling experience, you know?
Yeah. No, she whipped him into shape.
Right? So
I've
yeah,
seen things.
they seem to cohabitate pretty well, and then this is their, I call it their baby. It's not a baby anymore. He's already getting pretty big. And he's not fired up yet, but whenever he does, he looks pretty similar to his parents.
Yeah.
So that's just kind of an unintentional breeding project that they've just been kind of doing for us.
Right,
We haven't really
yeah.
had to do much. Down in this tube, most of the time you can see eggs. So yeah, I'll have to go and take care of some stuff at the front of the store. but,
Absolutely.
y'all feel free to go around and
Appreciate
get
it.
whatever footage you need to get.
Yeah.
was a really good time talking with you guys.
Super cool. Thank you.
you guys.
Yeah.
So much.